Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mrs. Tinielle DesVignes-Hill, Communications and Marketing Manager of TPAC, and Miss Megan Gill, Cultural Agent for the World Residents at Sea. And we're talking about TPAC's historic performance. Now, when you hear TPAC, you're always looking forward to something of excellence, something out of the box, something out of the ordinary, and of course, something that is very inspiring to all of us here on the island of Tobago, whether you have some type of talent in the arts. So, good morning, Tinielle, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for the warm welcome and for describing TPAC so well. Thank you for
Right.
that.
And Miss Gill, good morning and welcome also to you. And so
Good morning. Good morning.
we're talking about this groundbreaking performance of the TPAC. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the residents. Tell me about the vessel and what it does, and in terms of how did it find the shores of Tobago to attract what we have here on the island of Tobago.
Right, sure. I'll take that one. Thank you again for having me. So the World is a very unique ship. It is a residential yacht, so people do live on the ship as well. And it is a yacht that circumnavigates the globe. So they are constantly moving, they are constantly engaging with new cultures, from Canada to Antarctica to Australia and all around. So they did find their way to the shores of Tobago and were seeking a spectacular cultural showcase. And I think that they got just that.
Right, and that leads to my next question in terms of were your expectations met? Were they satisfied or were they blown away by the performance of the TPAC?
Oh man, I think that the TPAC exceeded everyone's expectations. I think that the showcase was phenomenal. It was, and I will say this, the biggest showcase that the world has ever seen, the vessel had ever seen, as well as the fact that it was the only real theatrical showcase, and a showcase that included many aspects of the art. We had dance, we had music, we had a theatrical performance. So it was a unique one for the vessel indeed.
Right, right. And Tennille, I want to bring you in here now on this part of the conversation in terms of how does it make you feel knowing or hearing these remarks, and of course, being a part of TPAC in terms of their marketing manager and ensuring that they get the visibility and the representation for the island of Tobago. What are the how do you feel first and foremost, and what is the feedback coming from the team at TPAC?
Well, to be honest, I obviously feel very proud. It was a very special moment for not just the performers, but also those in the audience from the TPAC team. We even had the Tobago Tourism Agency there. And it was such a proud moment to see our performance, our culture being accepted so well. I must admit, I was a little nervous as well, because we know that there are difficulties, technical difficulties and challenges putting on a show of this nature. But boy, did TPAC live up to expectations. And I was a proud Tobagonian, but also a very proud member of TPAC that day. Yeah.
And I know that TPAC, as I mentioned earlier, they go above and beyond in terms of, first of all, coming up with concepts for delivery. And Miss Gill, Tobago our culture is so rich and so diverse
Indeed.
that sometimes to capture our culture in one performance
Precisely.
is really difficult. So, but to really put all the elements, I did not see the performance, but to put all the elements together, knowing what TPAC does, I could only imagine what the display was like there. So, Tennille, in terms of preparation, getting the team together, coming up with the concept, the costumes, the scripts, and whatever you had to pull together, what was that preparation like?
Well, first of all, we had to think of a concept that would be suitable for international audience. But because we are Tobagonians, we also took it as an opportunity to package our culture and everything that we're known for beyond the beaches we're talking about. So this particular initiative, we try to bring together everything from the Tobago harvest, Tobago carnival, the rainforest, the beaches, the people, the dance. We thought to ourselves, how do we package Tobago in something that can be consumed by international audiences where they could understand us and also appreciate our culture and want to come back. And again, we were successful. So the production was really about the 8 mystiques of Tobago. And this was a production that was written and directed by our very own multi-talented Rayshon Pear, the artistic director at TPAC. And as some of the feedback was about, they got to see everything in Tobago in one place. And as one resident of the ship said, that is why they came to Tobago, to learn about the culture, not just to see the pretty beaches and the pretty landscape. So the production process was about finding ways to package Tobago in one way, in a way that international audiences could understand, but also in a way that's still authentic to Tobago, so that we're still not losing the heart of what makes us Tobagonian.
And, after, that type of preparation and, ensuring that the culture of Tobago is represented in that type of way, and now having to do this production aboard the yacht, Ms. Gill, in terms of the technical aspects of the production, what did it take to ensure that everything was available to support the delivery of this production that TPAC did up aboard the vessel?
Right. Well, it was a heavy lift because it was such a big production and we had to coordinate it remotely. So, above all, we had to make sure that everyone was on the same page and that we understood things like the dimensions of the space, the specifics of the space, the width, the depth. And so all of this had to be communicated clearly. We had a number of video calls because I'm in Trinidad, TPAC is in Tobago, and we didn't get a chance to meet up until coming down right to the very end to the dress rehearsal. So a lot of it had to be done remotely. And we had to make sure that things were as clear as possible and as detailed, as scheduled as possible, so that when we reached to the ship on the day, we understood the assignment. And having the dress rehearsal really helped a lot. That would have been my only opportunity to see the performance and then give any suggestions or feedback necessary to tweak the different things that we needed. And I think that, TPAC is such a professional, just a splendid company to work with. The technical elements, it came together so smoothly. I could not have asked for a better collaborator than TPAC right now.
And it's so really, really cool to hear those types of reviews. And I'm wondering now, how was it received in terms of the team, the residents aboard the ship? Because you did mention it's a residential yacht. How did they respond to the performance, even the technical team, in terms of having to ensure that they're prepared for having to do this remotely and then having to operate on the day? What was the response like where that was concerned?
Wow, well, it was a tremendous response. Like I said earlier, the technical team was more than happy to assist. The technical and the programming and enrichment team was more than happy to assist because they welcome these types of performances. Like I said, the ship has not had a performance like this in my time, but I think in ever, right? And so they were so happy to just jump in and provide the support that we really needed. So I think we all felt held. Tinielle, I don't know if you could second that, but I think we all felt held by the technical team. From the resident perspective, during the show, I'm looking around, looking at faces. The residents were immersed. The residents were totally immersed. We were seeing smiles. We were seeing the bits of suspense, confusion. The faces really showed that TPAC understood the assignment that they needed to fulfill here, And I was receiving emails during the show from the shoreside management team sending me photos of the event as it was happening in real time, saying how much the residents were appreciating the performance.
So Tinielle, this question is for you in terms of, these reviews that we're getting based on the delivery of TPAC and performing on the vessel, the yacht. What does it mean in terms of partnerships moving forward, in terms of ensuring TPAC positions Tobago's culture on a global scale? How do you see yourself moving forward with this vision to ensure you have partnerships with other agencies across the globe to spotlight Tobago where our culture is concerned?
Well, that's actually what we're doing right now. So this is just the beginning of a new era, I would say, for TPAC. because we were in the business, of course, of training residents, putting on local productions. But a huge part of our mandate is to also develop the creative economy and to export Tobago's culture. So this show, for example, was really establishing the fact that Tobago does have a strong cultural product, and we do have internationally ready productions, artists, and even technical teams on the island. So for us, right now, I won't give too much because I might come on another show and talk about it, but we're exploring a lot more opportunities right now in the US. We actually just had one of our music coordinators come back from St. Thomas, where again, we're in the business of exporting the culture. And this would mean a heavy partnership with our sister agency, the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, because I don't know if you know this, and Tobagonians should know this, but a huge part of our tourism product is local culture, people, and heritage. But the fact is, we must be able to translate this local culture in a way that international audiences could understand, appreciate, and doesn't put Tobago in a bad light. We still want to be authentic. So we're in the process of making even more partnerships. Right now, our CEO is in talks with some professionals in Las Vegas, and we're looking to also export an Odyssey inland to see if we could have more cruise ships and perhaps even hotels locally to show this production to international audiences. So TPAC is ready to take Tobago's culture international.
I feel really, really proud being a Tobagonian and, having had this opportunity, and not just having the opportunity, but executing it well. Because sometimes we get opportunities and, we don't really maximize. And I feel as if this was maximized. And in terms of ensuring partnerships are maintained and that the culture, as you mentioned before, Tinielle, how authentic the culture is, not diluting the culture, but ensuring also international markets and audiences can understand and appreciate us, because Tobagonians are very unique. I have never met a people like the Tobago people.
Sure.
We are complex, we are unique, we are loving, we are so many different things. And to be able to translate that to a global audience is really, really amazing.
And it's really an honor for us as well. I mean, we take that particular mantle very seriously because, again, we want to make Tobagonians proud while showing us to the world.
And while we're talking about this show, the Odyssey that you performed on the yacht, when will we in Tobago, will this show be done on a Tobago stage for the audience of Tobago to enjoy as well?
We have to. So we're currently in talks, because this is a show that's actually packaged for export. So it's really packaged to be an all-in-one show that can move from country to country if we need to carry it on a ship, if we need to carry it to a hotel. But of course, based on the feedback we've received, we are looking to have a staging in Tobago, but more importantly, overseas as well.
Right. I'm excited to see that Tobago staging. And before we go, Ms. Gill, I'd just like to ask, in terms of, I know you said the yacht, it moves from country to country, continent to continent, looking for cultural displays and trying to ensure that you provide a space for persons. In terms of the Caribbean region, are you staying in this region for now? And have you had any other performances from Caribbean regions? And of course, I must ask, if you have to rank them and it's a Tobago performance, how would you position them?
Okay, well, I mean, in my past with the world, I actually was on board the vessel as the stage and broadcast manager. During my time, our stint was more from Canada down to Antarctica. So we didn't really touch too much of the Caribbean. Now, I know that the ship is still in motion, and I am not really privy to say where they will be next, but I do imagine that Tobago is high up on the list of not just places to visit, but performances to see.
Right. And of course, we will take that. We will take that, One thing about Tobago people is that, and we always say this here on this show, we support our own. If you're going to run a race, if you're going to sing a song, if you're going to write a poem, if you're going to do a performance on a global stage, we root for each other here on the island of Tobago. Once you're representing us, You got all of our
But
support.
can I actually take a moment to thank for that support, because I'm happy you brought that up. Listen, the love has been felt. The support has been felt from the Division of Tourism to our sister companies. And I really actually want to take this opportunity, sorry to cut you off, to just say to our audiences, thank you for the support for our staff. You are amazing. Continue doing what you're doing. And I want to leave a message that this was more than a performance. This was a moment of cultural diplomacy. So when you support TPAC, you're supporting the growth of Tobago's economy and, of course, the export of our culture. So this is just the first step in one of the many international performances we hope to have. And thank you from Tobago Updates to the rest of Tobago for the support that we've felt and appreciate.
Of course, and indeed a pleasure, of course. And I wish we had so much more time to go through, because I really am excited to have conversations of this nature. And I look forward, of course, to future partnership with the Resident Yacht and also with other global agencies that will highlight and spotlight Tobago. And I wish both of you the very, very best as you continue in your mission to ensure cultures across the globe for you, Ms. Gill and Tinielle, that the Tobago culture has that international stage as well. So all the best, and thank you guys so very much.
Thank you. Follow us on Facebook and
Thank you so
Instagram
much.
for more updates from TPAC as well, at Tobago Performing Arts. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, all right. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.